Welcome to Rugby Thoughts by DrivingMaul. When I woke up this morning, I saw that the Six Nations have announced they will be including bonus points in the 2017 season. The bonus point system has been around for over 20 years now, after starting life in the NPC in New Zealand and being used in Super Rugby ever since its inception. This is the biggest change to the Six Nations since Italy were introduced at the turn of the century, which just gives you an idea as to how slow this organisation is in moving and considering things. I'll put a link to the press announcement below so you can read through the details yourselves. But this is not just being added to the Six Nations, but it's also being added to the Women's Six Nations and also the Under-21 Six Nations. What I think this really shows is that the Six Nations don't realise that they're not the pinnacle anymore. The Rugby World Cup is the pinnacle, and so you should be adopting the rules and the sort of point systems that the Rugby World Cup uses, so that everything is pointed towards winning that. Teams are used to playing under those pressures, those conditions, and everything should be pointed towards winning the Rugby World Cup, and that the Six Nations isn't the pinnacle. You can see that they haven't got that yet because they decided that actually, the point system isn't right. It's not. So they added in an extra set of bonus points for a Grand Slam. Now I understand why this is. The Grand Slam is clearly the big target and the best prize for all the teams, and we can see that also rolls over to the Southern Hemisphere nations when they come up on their November tours. Whenever they get to play the four home nations, there's all the talk of trying to claim the Grand Slam, and we saw that this year with Australia. But if you look historically, and I know people have, and you use the point systems, change the point system to include bonus points, it's very, very rare that a team that wins the Grand Slam, that completes a Grand Slam, doesn't win the tournament. I think it's only like once it hasn't happened or something. So it's really, whilst it's a safeguard, it's an unnecessary thing and just shows how they don't appreciate their place in the world game. We also have to remember this is only a trial. They will be reviewing it at the end of the season. And this system has only been around for 20 years. Who knows if it works or not? Every other competition that I can think of uses bonus points in one form or another. So it seems crazy that they can't just make the decision and go for it. But again, this is another sign of how entrenched the Six Nations Committee are, how averse to any kind of change they are, and they are too scared of hurting the cash cow that the Six Nations is. Yes, it generates a lot of money. People are really interested in it, but these are kind of changes or moving the games by a month would not hurt those sort of things, and the Six Nations Committee needs to be more forward-looking to stop hurting the global game. So that's my opinion. Yes, I'm glad that they've gone and put bonus points in. I do think they have managed to mess it up as well as they can, and by only putting it as a trial, they're just re-showing how of a old boys club and how backward looking they really are. Be interested to hear your thoughts below or on Twitter. Do get in touch with me. Thanks guys.